Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Lovely Monday it is, April 15th, 2024. Hope you had a magnificent weekend and that your week is off to a fantastic start. For me, when the sun is shining and the wind and breeze is sweet, it's already a good day. And that's exactly what my experience is right now. It's beautiful. It's actually 82 degrees in my part of town, which, depending on where you are, may not be, may not be all that magical if you live in a warmer climate, but it's always a privilege to actually have a spring transition and in the Northeast, or where I am in the Northeast, not to jump straight from winter straight to summer, to have a nice little gradual warm up in the spring months, because sometimes we don't get that luxury. We might have a couple of mild days in the 70s, low 80s, and then bam, it's straight to high 80s, 90s plus. And you never can tell really what you're going to get, but so far so good. Not only did we kind of kick winter a little early, where it started to warm up sooner. It really does feel like spring. It really does. So thank God for that. But either way, I just hope that you're having a great day, no matter the weather, that the sun is shining in your heart. All right, so let's see where we are today. High Priestess. What's this under here? I'm just curious, since it's peeking at me. Ace of Swords. Whoa, what's this? Wow. Four of Wands. Hold up. This is some powerful energy. What's this? Three of Pentacles. That's on the top. Ooh, man. This is somebody highly intuitive. You talking about intuition, or perhaps even prophetic. Ooh, yeah. Well established too, with the Four of Wands, like balanced in your visions, or in your, what is that, like because the four, the house is blaring out me with the Four of Wands, but something about this energy really contributing to your temple. That's what I'm getting here. That your what is that scripture about your temple? Your temple being it's about really consecrating your body and your spiritual being as a sacred place. That's what I'm getting here. But somebody takes it a step further, that their house is a temple too. But of course, it's from the inside out that energy would exude. It comes from the internal perspective first, before it materializes energetically or physically with the Four of Wands. But somebody takes their body, and they're not even just their body in a physical form, but they take their energetic force field very seriously. They're careful about what they say, the thoughts that they think. They're careful about the energy that they project or connect with. Careful about what they allow themselves to be they're careful about entanglements, and particularly balance, because these are both balancing cards, I would say. Pure spiritual balance, and this is like energetic balance. Careful about how do I say, is it even careful? Conscious, that's what it is, particularly with the Ace of Swords. Very conscious about their spiritual balance. And I love this with the Four of Wands, because it's somebody that reveres themselves as sacred, but doesn't necessarily take themselves too seriously. I don't even know how that gets to be, but that's what I'm feeling. Because the Four of Wands is what kind of like makes it more relatable, you know, literally grounding this very high level energy. So it's like somebody that's in a priestess or priest, you know, if it's, you know, if you're more of a masculine, but you have significant feminine energy, particularly of the spiritual nature. You may be intuitive or are very trustworthy in your intuitions. You know, that's when you're a priest that works in their priestess vibe, which we should all more or less have both, and, you know, be embodying both. And that's the point here, that there is a balanced connection where between the two, this might be one and the same here, embodied in one being, that your masculine and feminine sanctity is synergized, so that you know when to be receptive of the word or a message, particularly of an ethereal source. You know how to tap into your intuition, meaning the intangible intel that is specific to you, you know, and your channels. You know how to tap into it, and you also know how to, and more of the masculine energy, wield it as a sword to produce, to either react or respond. That's really what I'm getting to. To be proactive with that information or that enlightenment. But it's more than enlightenment here. It's deep. Like, it's hard for me to put my finger on, because I see sometimes the Ace of Swords as like clairvoyance, but attached to the High Priestess, that's like claircognizance. That's like having all of your senses, all your clairs on board, and knowing exactly, being very objective as to how you use that arsenal. But you're always connected to however it projects itself or pronounces itself. And that's how this force field is well protected, well balanced in the natural sense, because somebody's really learned how to harness their gifts and their clairs in a way that, you know, because you as a high priestess, meaning all well in doing, can kind of you know, seem a little bit disconnected from reality, like somebody that's just too spiritual. You know, that's why I think I was saying the balance between being sacred but not taking yourself too seriously at the same time. I should probably find a better way to say that, because if you do separate yourself or consecrate yourself as sacred, not taking yourself too seriously almost doesn't really, it kind of contradicts the first, but I don't know a better way of expressing that contrast. This is like somebody that, yeah, they holy and they sanctified and they're sacred and they don't play no games when it comes to themselves and their supreme and their source, but they know how to have a good time too. And they're not necessarily condemning anybody else for how they choose to have a good time, or for who they are or where they are in their lives. And if anything, you know, it's a privilege to sit in an energy such as this and be an inspiration and an impact to others in ways that is most relatable, so that that energy kind of rubs off and it's not repellent or divisive. You know, it's kind of like the nun or the divine mother, and we're in the presence of nuns, like you almost feel like, oh, let me be on my P's and Q's, let me not swear, let me not, say anything too taboo or whatever. But this is like the one who says exactly what's on her mind, however it comes out, and it doesn't make her any less sacred or sanctified. And that is the draw, because when I was seeing this Four of Wands, I was seeing it almost as like building a temple, especially with this structure in the back here. It looks like a castle, but who knows what it is truly. But it's someone that creates sacred spaces, whether they be physical, energetic, social, could be even virtual, whatever the cultivation and what's the other word I want to use, like the curation may be, is where all are welcomed. Long as you ain't on no bullshit, you know what I mean? And even if you are, it's not like we hate you. It's just that, there's a certain standard that is set for creative expression in however way that gets to be, to the point where it's not so much that you would feel like less than or feel guilty saying certain things or doing certain things that may be taboo or controversial. It's just that you would actually be inspired to want to elevate your expression or your understanding in a positive sense, not feeling condemned, but feeling creative, if that makes sense. I like that. That's powerful. Let me take this out. So we got that there. So Two of Wands. Wow, there's the power right there. I'm gonna just take these three out. Ooh, big old blackjack or something. I got the window open. I hope he don't find his way in here. That, and then let's see what's here. Oh man. And see, when I was seeing the three of Pentacles on the bottom, I was feeling that energy of conspiracy to corrupt or to interfere. But as you saw, I paid it dust because it didn't seem to really have true relevance to me. And here's the result of having no relevance when you don't mean any well. It's like energy that's on the type of time of corruption. This is what I mean by it just kind of setting a certain precedence of passion, particularly a high precedence of passion, because it's like you won't feel unwelcome to come into a space that is cultivated in an energy such as this. Well, you won't feel, what's the right word? You won't feel, what I mean to say is like you won't feel like you can't come in, but to enter into these courts, whatever they may be, again, it's something about how a person cultivates, and it's from the inside out. So it's more or less probably whatever they put their energy toward, whatever you maybe put your energy toward, there's a certain heightened frequency is all I can express, like a vibration about it, like it's so high that someone would either be, the confrontation would either cause a transmutation on contact, meaning someone that may approach with the spirit of corruption or the intention or plan for corruption would be shifted and would either be compelled to kind of get with the program, more or less, like that's the transmutation energy, or they would be expelled in one way or another, or would, expel themselves for, when you come up against energy that's just like too much, and it's like, I ain't here for all that. But one thing's for sure is that it can't be corrupted from the outside in by mal-meaning intentions. The only possibilities are for transmutation, transformation, or transition. And by transition, I mean you either see your way out or take that energy elsewhere. So that's pretty powerful. And of course, people would be considerably thoughtful about how to corrupt or to benefit from such a powerhouse as that. But like I said, what they quickly find out is that this force is either impenetrable unless you're coming in good faith and with good nature, or they are transformed in ways that they didn't anticipate, or they're just more or less too uncomfortable to cross the threshold, or at least to stay very long. That's what I'm getting here. Because it's like you can't really exist in the pureness of truth, especially in the projection of the Ace of Swords, for too long without being impacted one way or another. It literally is literally given, like, when you go into like there's not but so long a demonic energy should be able to withstand the vibration in a sanctified temple of God, whatever God expression that gets to be. But where there is pure light and pure love, like that almost naturally exercises a demon to either act out or to be expelled. Like how you see some of those like exorcisms in churches and stuff. Now, whether or not they're actually true, I don't know. I think some of it is definitely performance based. However, in real life, that's how it should be. That you shouldn't just have witches and warlocks and demons and goblins sitting up in the church feeling good. That's a sure sign that the frequency is low enough for them to be comforted by, and that something needs to change. And that could be on a personal level, and certainly on more of a collective or a corporate level, such as a religious organization or spiritual affiliate, whatever. It doesn't even have to be spiritual or religious, of course, but even in spaces that should be operating in the highest of integrity and truth, which every space should, okay, right? But those where there's an expectation for that to be the case, the corruption should almost like purge itself, especially at this point, this day and age. And for you as an individual, your senses at this point and your frequency should be so elevated that there's just certain things that just can't attract to it, or it just can't stay long without showing its true face behind the mask, or without eventually it just kind of separating itself from your connection. I think that's surely a test of where you are, and if you're particularly feeling magnetic to unfortunate occurrences. It's definitely that sometimes a sword can be a bit of a mirror, I think, to really consider how that reflection may be projected from within. Like, what am I still telling myself about life or about life circumstances? What I deserve, who I am, what I'm worthy of, what I'm not. You know, what I should be afraid of, or what I have authority over. Like, you know, really kind of gauging your personal projection of truth, particularly if you're still experiencing some vulnerability to unfortunate events or occurrences. It has to start with inventory within self first before anything else. Because as I'm saying this, it's like negative energy, forces, intentions, every range of which you could speak of them: energy vampires, corruptors, hidden enemies, whatever, however they show themselves in the physical form or as an energetic expression, i.e. depression or fear or scarcity. It has to have something to really attach to, which is the purpose of sanctifying your temple, so to speak, in the first place, so that you make yourself less magnetized for those densities. In any regard, as someone that clearly has or is in the process of or has great potential to, the way that it came through so clearly at this time. But let's see what else we got. Okay. Wow. 10 of Cups. Come on, somebody. Well, that's a positive sign. Happiness, fulfillment, beyond spiritual satisfaction. This is like spiritual bliss. Graduating from it just being about balance, almost like stabilizing yourself after some great challenge or charge, or surmounting a great feat, to finally coming to a point where you feel excited about life. You know, you feel very hopeful about the outlook of life. Your home is secure, it's balanced, it's your affairs are not just stable but productive and prosperous. That's that. And then you have this here with the 10 of Cups, where I don't even know how to, it's like life is a breeze, you know? Like life is really, love is life and life is love. That's what the 10 of Cups is. Kids are happy and thriving. Your legacy is secure. You're not only pleased with what you've accomplished, you don't even have to think about the future. It's almost like a guarantee of security from this energetic and emotional state of being, that as long as this is true and stabilized, you can pretty much do anything. You can literally create. I mean, this is someone that has a partner or at least some support in their endeavors, and someone that's on the same page with them for the outlook of their life, that they feel safe with, they feel loved by. You know, they're on the same page with the legacy that they want to lead, whether that is and this doesn't have to be limited to relationship or intimacy, because it could even be a matter of spiritual fulfillment within a professional arrangement or connection or organization, you know, like just, but there being a very centrical or centric, I think is the word, connection that is emotionally grounded or spiritually grounded. It's not just a matter of just cold hard business and the bottom line, and you know, we're hitting all the facts and figures and numbers and all. It's all about the profit, is what I'm trying to say. This with the cups is being fulfilled by what you're actually doing, and that more or less probably taking the higher advantage than the money itself. You know, and that's the energy that actually makes the material. That's the attractive force that continues to keep, you know, that keeps scarcity at bay, so that in the case that you may even have to rework a business or reinvent a product, or you know, the relationship takes a turn in some challenging way. Maybe you have to move, or there's something that shifts drastically within the partnership. It's still being approached with this 10 of Cups perspective and spirit, where there really is no hard feet. You know, like you feel secure and faithful and hopeful to face anything. Invincibility to some degree, as long as you can maintain this spirit of bliss, which doesn't seem like it's hard for somebody. And look who's look at these three again. What is this about the Three of Pentacles? And you know what is given to me? It's like if this is it doesn't always have to be oppositional energy, but it feels darker when you get into the vibrancy of these other cards. And it's given to me that it's highlighting, as I said, the deficiency in the frequency of those that would even try to disrupt that flow, you know, that reality here. Because here you go, people that are on the frequency of material matters only, which is what the Three of Pentacles is essentially, and it's at a low level of suit with the three, you know, it's not even the 7 or the 8, you know. So we're talking about Three of Pentacles, somebody that may have a very skewed or scarce perspective of prosperity, that may be looking to kind of like, you know, get it how they live one way or another, but most likely get it in some way that is not wholly light. And I didn't mean to say holy in the sense of like the Holy Mother, but hey, it fits, but meaning holistically in the light, which this isn't. You know, it seems like some dark cellar or financial institute, some judicial building or state building, government building, somewhere behind the scenes. It could also be a card about higher education as well too, but I don't know, the energy of it just feels distorted to me. It still poses no consequence or no need of fear, because like I said, what is despair, what is the point of despair here is that somebody's operating on a 10 of Cups, not even about a 10 of Pentacles. Pentacles is something that can be fleeting, that can be manipulated, monopolized, stolen, here today, gone tomorrow. But a 10 of Cups, that's eternal. It's impenetrable when you have the outlook that every day is a good day because you say so, not because of what you have or what you do or what news you get or don't, what car you drive, what house you live in, not even if you have a partner or not. The 10 of Cups is bliss with where you are in the present moment and being intentional about always cultivating that presence of bliss. This is dependency here at its finest with the Three of Pentacles. that's really no match. That means that people could put their best foot forward to try to object or obstruct in the way that they think is most impactful and impressionable, but lo and behold, that it doesn't really have the same influence that it might have if they were on the other side of that intention. They might be affected more by someone trying to poach or steal or destroy or, interfere with their material measurements than someone like you that up until now, that's not even where the source of your strength and stability comes from. Not even with the Four of Wands. It's your energy matters more to you than material. And that's a fantastic place to be, because you can always get more stuff if you have a spirit that's intact. But it doesn't work the other way around. You can have all the stuff in the world, but if you haven't cultivated or curated, no, you can't even curate a pure spirit. It has to be cultivated from the inside out. And if you are not able to do that, you'll never truly be happy. You may never get to a place of bliss, because it'll always matter how that you don't have this or that, or how much more you could have, and then you could have everything that you could possibly dream of and then be worried about losing it. It's like, you think people have enough evidence by way of other people's experiences by now. It's like, if the celebrity world isn't good for anything, it sure is good for teachable moments, unfortunately at other people's expense. And many people are not even afraid to tell you, especially once they've fallen into despair, just how little all the things mattered once they acquired it, and what they found really mattered most. But something in our nature, for some at least, still is prone to fuck around and find out. And I feel like you might as well fuck around and find out how amazing it is to feel good about who you are and what you do, and the essence of your innermost being, like how well cultivated and how well taken care of and elevated and ascended that is. The nature of your relationships, which are quite reflective of who you are, and things like that. Like, wouldn't you rather find out how prosperous that is? Of course it doesn't have the promise of immediate gratification as measurable things do, as material things sometimes do, or the projection of, of like a public proclamation of just how well you're doing, how great you are. But I assure you, with that Nine of Swords, it'll definitely cut down on the sleepless nights, the anxiety, the eagerness, the anxiousness, the fear of survival, the scarcity. You could eliminate all of that energy from your existence by shifting to some other focus that's not as measurable as what you can actually lay a finger on. And it may not be as gratifying as a house or a car, a house here, or money in the bank at first, but it always leads to that. It does. It's just, it's the spiritual law. It can't not lead to prosperity when it's been cultivated from the inside out, but it can be fleeting when it's done from the outside in. Wow, that's back out. Yeah, that's the true power right there. That's the holy grail. I mean, not really, because it's not the ace of cups, but that's like, the ultimate power to reverence your own creativity in its purest form, like what you are excited to do, not by the motivation of what you may receive on the other end, or how you may look doing the thing, or how you may be perceived by the accolades and the position and all, but just purely like, what excites me? What do I love? What makes me feel powerful? What makes me feel purposeful? What's inspiring? So this is some big opportunity here on the horizon to expand beyond just the sanctity of self and maybe the small establishments of sanctuary someone is able to create by way of their connection. Now it's like building a legacy from that energy, something that will be long lasting and highly inspiring and impactful. Yeah, this is dynasty energy, as a matter of fact, because it's the frequency of love that becomes a kinetic force. And that could be by way of a partnership, by way of a relationship, of a family unit where you teach your kids a certain way to be that is contrary to our standard conditioning. And that continues on generation to generation. And even if it has to continue on in its own right, it still matters, like sometimes if it can feel like we're a bit outnumbered here in the realm, as to those of us that project love and light, most intentionally and most radically at times. Sometimes it almost feels like, what are you even doing it for? Does anybody care? Is it even infecting me really and truly? Like, because again, the conditioning of wanting to see material results for your devotion, that's what this is, supreme devotion here. But certainly, if it's just a matter of you impressing upon your children something more elevated and expansive of a mentality or a passion, a drive, a confidence, an inspiration than what you were privy to, that in itself is the ultimate impact and power to the world. Because you've implanted a seed that could get to live on and on, even beyond your presence, that could materialize beyond what you could have imagined it to be, or even what you get to see it to be, but certainly doesn't necessarily have the potential to do so if not for you being that original cultivator. Otherwise, we could continue to perpetuate the cycles that we know aren't the most productive and prosperous, and that legacy will look very different to continue on. And therefore, as I said before, could be more susceptible to those lower frequencies of distraction and disturbance and deterrence that are just kind of commonplace in the realm. It almost takes an elevated intention to secure a legacy beyond what we can account for at this time. Otherwise, who the hell knows where the state of affairs of the nation and even the world, the universe, may go without that intention and that motivation, that devotion. So it seems like it's very singular. It's very, like I said, somebody that doesn't really take themselves too seriously, but may actually not know that what they're doing is making all the difference in bigger ways than they could ever truly grasp. You know, it's kind of like the painter. Hopefully, you know, that doesn't have to be the case for all, but it's kind of like the artists that don't truly get celebrated and revered for their genius until they've already passed on. Now, I'm not saying I hope that gets to be the case for you, but it's like in the act of their creativity, some people get it, but most people don't. You know, that sometimes they don't even know what impressions they're making on art or whatever genre of creativity that's being expressed. Sometimes you don't know, but that comes from just moving in your own authenticity, doing what feels good, doing what inspires you, doing what comes natural. And a lot of times it is so revolutionary or pioneering that you don't even know that you're making an impact until years later or when you're already gone and people are like, damn, in hindsight, like, wow, that was really something. Nobody was doing that. And no, you know, because in the present moment, we're so conditioned to want to be cookie cutter or fit in and be accepted and understood that it takes some really courageous beings to kind of like leap out of the box against scrutiny, against misunderstanding, against resistance or contradiction, or, you know, all those things that kind of make you feel like you want to cower back inside and just do it like everybody else is doing. But those are not the people that change the world. Those are not the ones that we truly remember. Those are not the ones that help creation evolve beyond the same old, same old. So whatever you're doing, however strange it may seem, keep at it, because it's making an imprint. It's making an imprint. Let's see, yeah, Two of Pentacles, and it may be hard to balance the lack of resources or the understanding. Like what this is the energy. For me, it feels like a lack of support for you to continue on as you see fit, as you feel guided to. But don't worry, it'll all come out in the wash. You know, like I said, I'm not projecting that for those that are in a certain revolutionary state of mind and energy now that you won't get your flowers until you're dead and gone. No, but I'm just saying that if you need a present motivation to keep doing what you're doing, it's with the guarantee that it must be important to you beyond you, even if you don't get to see it. But I feel like we're living in a day and age where that acceleration, that delay is kind of being accelerated, that delayed gratification, so to speak, of even recognition and reward and acknowledgement and, you know, flowers, so to speak, is being accelerated now, to the point where it still may not be the large majority that gets it, but you will literally get what you're due on account of being you unapologetically. And that may actually be the shifting impression amongst, you know, to push against the normal conditioning of those of us that kind of want to see humanly, that want to see how everybody else likes it or what the crowd is going along with before we jump in. The evidence will be itself in how successful and how impressionable and lucrative the thing is that you do actually can be, as different and obscure and unique as it is, so that other people will then jump into that water. Like, well, it's not like we'll have to wait until you pass away and then your paintings are like, you know, it's like, oh, Now I want to buy her painting for $1 million. It's accelerated now. I believe that artists that are ambitious in a certain way and courageous and bold to just express themselves freely without care of the acceptance on the front end will actually find it in this season, and that will be the true inspiration for others to say, well, shoot, I need to find my thing too. Let me pick up a brush. Let me pick up a turntable or a microphone or a pencil and whatever, like whatever you do. Let me put on my dancing shoes, you know? So it won't be a thing that's so obscure anymore, like it's turning over, like that wheel's turning over where stardom is just kind of a dime a dozen. It's becoming, how do you say it, like commonplace, or it will, it is. It is. Oh my God, look at all these aces. Well, there you go. There's the Holy Grail, as I said. I spoke it up, I suppose. The overflow. The love that just never stops. And also like that anointing, that special, you know, like special, I don't know what to call it practically. What did I say before? Because sometimes for some people, anointing feels too religious or spiritual, even though, damn it, we started with the high priestess. So it's like, what do you want from me? But it's just that, that special gift that you possess that, I mean, it's just natural. It just comes out of you. It just oozes out of you. Like I said, the artist, the artist in any regard, you know, there, or however, whatever you do it in such a way that it almost seems artistic or seems unique. It stands out. It's set apart. It's like you could have 1,000,000 different painters, but the way that you paint, you know, starts a new movement. You know what I mean? Like that's the energy of the Ace of Cups. And because it's coming from that internal space of fulfillment, like something you love to do and you'd almost do it for free. And then the fact that you are gifted to do it, it's just that one of those fountains that, you know, almost just keeps regenerating itself. It's from the inside first, and then it pours out, and then it regenerates, and then it pours out, and it just never stops, you know, because it's from a regenerative source of bliss. This is the bliss. This is the blissfulness. Horns. And that is the place of, pardon me, and that's the point of outlook. That's the plan of action that is sourced from. Like everything you do comes from this space first, not painting because I expect to become a millionaire, or dancing because I want to be in videos, or singing because I want to be I have to be a world-renowned artist. Even if you desire for that to be the outcome, there's nothing wrong with that, of course, but it's about why you're doing the thing that you're doing. What's the energy that fuels and drives that inspiration? It can't be the exchange because then it will be dependent on it as to how much of yourself you invest, or if you keep going at all, you know? So yeah, I don't know. Let's keep going. Something big is coming. My goodness. Ace of Swords, Ace of Wands, which is a new opportunity, maybe a new love. It's like everything new on the board. Four of Pentacles, What's being held on to, or who's holding on, let's say. The small offering, a small offering or a small message, a small investment. Off the top, it just feels like that same energy now. Look, they've gone from the 3 of Pentacles, they've upgraded to the 4, and they want to invest. They want to get on your level. They want to find some way to benefit from this overflow, from this exuberance of energy, this great promise. This, you know, there's a lot of benefit here, a lot of opportunity. That's what it's given, opportunists. So just beware of opportunists. I ain't got time. I almost wish he ain't out here, but let's see what's after him. People that just want to kind of like monopolize off of your gifts and talents, but that don't really have much to add to it, whether it be in value or support. Even the financial support at this point between the 4 and the Page is not even, you know, because you, whomever, there's not a lot of Pentacles coming up on the board. So it could be a caution for those that are in the position to need, or hell, you really could use some actual capital to further your craft, to expand it, expound it, advance it, whatever the case may be. And then here comes somebody that is willing to give. You know, it's the labels, it's the so-called venture capitalists, it's the real estate investors or whatever. You know how they show up, and they have the money to offer, and it may even be exactly what you need materially, but you also have to consider what's in it for them on account of such a great investment here. So be mindful of the contracts that you're committing yourself to. There may be a quick answer, a quick gratification for how you could do more and be more, maybe even have more, you know, to maybe not be a starving artist, but actually be able to secure yourself as you pursue your craft. But consider the consequence, because it never is without strings, and consider all that you may or may not be sacrificing by way of the pureness, you know, the authenticity of your craft, when you now have to answer to an investor or somebody that has a material stake in it, you know, that's not really interested in you expressing yourself as authentically as possible as they are, and doing what could be popular enough to help them recoup their investment and then some, you know. So just be conscious, because you're on display, I think, is the point here, that somebody, even as I said, you may not even realize how special whatever you do is, but somebody else may, and they may have the capital to invest, and it may sound and look real good in the moment, but in the long run, it could be like a, you know, like a sacrifice or selling your soul situation at worst, unintentionally, of course, but we're breaking the cycles of the past. We're not recreating them. You know, it's just as sure as you continue to devote your time, your intelligence, your energy, your love, and your spirit to what you have been designed to do, is as sure as I said, you're going to receive the support and the stability, if not the prosperity that you deserve on the back end. You will. Don't be glamored by the counterfeits, or settle for, you know, that the first price, or the first offer, I should say. Yeah, something about that. Like, just be careful. It should be damn near an Ace of Pentacles for all these aces, for all the facility and potential you possess. Nobody should be coming with a Page of Pentacles, but really on the Four of Pentacles vibration, that they really are wanting to possess the value of your talent and your essence more than they want to invest. And of course, like, business is business, right? But like I said, we off that. We're not recreating the industry as it was. We are revolutionizing it. All right, let's see. A few more. Like I said, revolutionaries moving forward. And this is that new card now. So be wary of the gifts too. Like, oh, you need a way to get around. You know, people just offering you the world, offering you just exactly what you need, except for their honor. You know, that's not in the fine print. But on the upside, like, this is another major, you know, coupled with these aces and the good vibration of the Ten of Cups. It's like, man, it really don't get no better. And if anything, if I can backtrack to the Four of Pentacles, it could just be being conservative about your resources right now, because you know that your payday is coming. So you being very intentional about how you spend, what you invest in. And again, with that Page of Pentacles, it could be energetically, as I said, like, not allowing yourself to just be all willy-nilly with your energy. Like, everybody is entitled to the essence of your art, whether it be the spirit of you or the creativity of you. However, even your own home, hell, even your car, you know, like, everybody doesn't get a ride. Everybody doesn't get an invitation into your sanctuary. You know, everybody that's family ain't family with the Ten of Cups. Everybody that claims to be for you and a friend may need to be vetted, you know, before they are a part of your inner circle, because you're operating on such a frequency that is potent for sure, and it's just as delicate. You know, like, consider one bad contract in the practical sense could, you know, people are locked up in contracts to this day that they wish they wouldn't have signed, you know, that made all the difference in how they got to continue to just do what they love to do. Now, like I said, with us seeing the industry as it is, it should be the teachable moments that we need, you know, like the examples that we can refer to when you want to be sure of what not to do. Honestly, all the countless stories of artists that have been manipulated and abused and used and discarded and disposed, you know, it's like in ignorance and in exuberance for wanting to share their craft. Back then, feeling like there were no other options. Why people still do it now is beyond me. But like I said, when there's somebody offering you something up front that you don't necessarily have access to, I guess it's easy to kind of become entangled. But, you know, I don't know. I do know, because it couldn't be me. I don't give a damn what you're offering. I need to know what's in it for you, what's the fine print, how can I help you, how can I serve you, and at what point in time do we part ways? Because nobody gets rights to anything connected to me in perpetuity that is of my energetic creativity originally. Nobody should have right to that. Nobody. My likeness, my intellectual property, my visions, my inventions, none of it. My talent, my gifts, my music, my words, my material, none of it. Like, nobody should be able to glean off of your grace forever without there being a very reciprocal, very balanced exchange. And in that regard, it needs to be balanced in a way that it's a continuous propelling forward, you know, in an equal profit share in the most balanced way possible. And maybe not 50-50, but like it makes sense for us to move forward. Nope. So don't be scammed by the right now. The gold coins for the right now can easily be like what's that? Like magic beans. And look, back again. Yeah, no. Just be mindful is all I'm saying. Because that offer ain't getting no bigger. It still is not the page of the Ace of Pentacles. And you're worth it. You sure going to be making it for somebody, and they know that, or they wouldn't be willing to invest. Yeah, exactly. Look at all this facility. This is like, that's you. Somebody that has a gift and a talent to invest in so many different, this is like so much inspiration, creativity in different ways. Somebody that's just multi-talented. That you don't just sing, you write, you dance. I can't even say like they used to say like triple threat. This is a like, what is that? Like octagonal thread. I don't even know what that number, how you express that number as an 8. This is that. Or you have so many, this almost an unlimited, innumerable amount of talents and gifts. And it's like once you, one of those people, like really a Renaissance type of energy, you know, where you think that your one talent is singing, but then you become a best-selling author, and then you, lo and behold, are actually a good actor or actress. And what do you know? You don't just sing, you actually are an amazing producer and a writer. And you also have great business sense about ideas that you would want to bring to life, or better ways to do things in the corporate world. You have inventions up your sleeve. You're a real estate mogul because you just got a knack for a good investment. You know, it's just like endless wealth here. And here somebody come with their one Page of Pentacles, hoarding the 4 or the 3 others that they should be offering to you in partnership. You know, it's like you deserve more than that because you're giving so much more. And this is what many artists would have been. It's just like most artists, most of us in general are multi-talented. You know, especially when you're operating in this love energy here, you find out that energy transfers to things that you didn't, again, even take all that seriously. And lo and behold, because you just like doing or love doing it, you're actually really good at it, and it makes an impression, and it's an inspiration to others just to see you do it. You know, it's intriguing. Many of us are like that in some way, shape, or form, and given the opportunity to just be freely expressive with it, it would look something like an 8 of Wands, where it's just like rapid fire of creativity every time you turn around, and you thought I was done. Oh nope, I got this up my sleeve, and that, you know. Who's like that in the industry? Where a couple people are, but somebody I would like to highlight off the top. Quite a few people are actually, but literally those people that are just like, damn, you doing that now? Oh, I wish because I know energies like that I admire and that I revere. But I can't think of one to give as an example. Maybe it'll come to me before we're done. But let's see. You know who's kind of like that? And this is strange I wish I could think of a female too off the top, but oh well, I love Brandy. She's kind of like that. Like people sleep on her as a rapper, but poetically, I think that she's quite gifted. You know, people just can't let her be out the box as a singer and old Moesha, but as an actress, she's pretty damn good. A singer, of course, a songwriter, absolutely, an arranger and like a producer, you know, because of how she arranges her own vocals and things like that, absolutely. Then as a writer, and I'm sure she has some other tricks up her sleeve, but who I was really thinking about is what's his name? Donald Glover. He's kind of like one of those types of dudes. Now I don't know if he writes and well, he probably does because he produces television, so I'm sure he writes some stuff. But he's a comedian that actually is pretty damn funny. You would never even expect him to be. His humor is weird at times, you know, from what I've seen. But I laughed. He's a great actor. He's an amazing artist and a good singer. Not just the artistry of him is great, but his vocals are good. Me being a singer, you know, separating the two, because some people can be a great artist and, you know, not necessarily be a great singer. But he is actually both. I love Atlanta, and that was his brainchild as a producer and director, and like, you know, he's just kind of like one of those people that you're like, oh, you do that too? That's interesting. Didn't know you had that side. And they're so different, you know, his different expressions. So yeah, something like that. I wish I could think of a female just to be fair. Like Brandy for sure, but I feel like there's more that there's somebody else. Oh, look at that. Exactly. That's operating in that Queen of Cups energy, in love and spirit first. That's that. Doing all things in love, being ordained to operate that way, in that special way. That's literally the Queen of Cups is holding the Holy Grail. And from my perspective, maybe not everybody's, but that's how I see it. And these are maybe some upgrades that are coming in on account of cultivating. So yeah, like you can actually expect to be advanced, not just in a material way, of course, or in what you've already been doing, but this is saying to me that you're about to encounter some new gifts and talents and abilities that you probably have never really experienced of yourself. Some things might be like a reawakening, or like I said, like, oh, I actually do that really well, and kind of pronounce it more than what you took seriously again. But I feel like some things are going to be altogether new, like almost a rebirth of creativity in some ways that are going to even astound you, like how she's looking at that cup almost like an outer body experience. Like, is that really me? You find yourself doing something that you really never in your consciousness considered before. Maybe it's subconscious, you know, it's something psychologically brewing or was suppressed or something, but consciously it's not like you ever sat around and considered or fantasized about doing this thing, and yet here you are, you know. So yet again, another astounding layer of your potential. Wow, yeah, exactly. What the Death card is giving transformation. Like I said, rebirths. You finding yourself being awakened to new power, new expressions of spirit, higher heights, you know, like, oh, man, being elevated. This is more rebirth than anything, than it is, you know, demise of any sort. I'm definitely not picking that up at all. This is extreme transformation right before people's eyes. Like, what? She doing what now? You know? Like, no, come on. Like, she just got finished that. Now she over here doing that. Like, yep, she is. And to your surprise, It actually is good. You know, I just somebody that's just bouncing around doing anything. You know, I mean, there's room for that too. Enjoy yourself. But this is somebody that makes an impression on everything that they touch, everything they put their mind to, connect their energy with, devote their time to. It's like, to the point of the artist, a masterpiece. It's you know what it is? Constant reinvention. Relentless reinvention. That's what it is. And the most productive way though, because every time you're reinvented, it's like you don't dismiss what you've acquired up until that point, but it's like what you add on almost makes you a completely new creature altogether, a new entity in some way, shape, or form altogether. You're not just a singer anymore, or a singer-songwriter, or a singer-songwriter actress, or a singer-songwriter actress model, or singer-songwriter actress model author, a singer-songwriter actress model author, and real estate mogul, or add on to that philanthropist, and you know, somebody that just keeps getting better with time, with each new reinvention, with each new season in life. They just keep elevating and ascending. But it's all because of that centric force of power, everything done in love. This is the spirit, this is the truth. Like I said, you think somebody, like, not a pentacle on the board except for this strange energy here. You think somebody in that frequency is going to be broke? Hell no. Hell no. It's not possible. You'll always be prosperous. Wow, that came up upside down. And there's the objective force up under this Four of Pentacles again. Somebody that don't even know who they are. But look how small that presence is compared to all of this good stuff, though. That's what I like to point out. That's what I like to point out, that somebody that doesn't even operate in their own authenticity and truth can be no true match or threat to or for or to, whichever way it goes, someone that's operating in their natural essence. This is just not even worth talking about. It's not. They're too busy trying to hold on to a persona of what they think is palatable, what they think would be popular, what they feel would make them money, or would be agreeable or understandable, acceptable. Meanwhile, you just focusing on you, just doing you. This is somebody lying to themselves and perhaps to others, certainly to others, but first to self. And they thrive in that lie, you know, they thrive in that illusion, but it doesn't last. Let's see what's on the bottom. Oh, here's the Page of Pentacles finally. Two of Cups. Pure agreements and arrangements. These are the contracts. That's the contract here, what you're really worth. What you're really worth. But you can only truly demand such a high level exchange when you are operating authentically. To demand a contract that is fair and balanced and favorable to you, let alone when you know who you are and what you bring to the table. Somebody that's in the Queen of Swords energy, or the adverse of all that I'm saying, you get to be, for you to start be lying to yourself and lying to others, trying to project some palatable persona of who you truly are for others to be, you know, to be comforted by it, or doing what you feel is, like I said, profitable or popular to the masses, you'll find yourself holding on to everything that you acquire, because there's no way to know how long that exchange will last. It's like living in a fad, you know, living as a trend of what society tells you you should be. You can never quite put your finger on when that trend will phase out, and with you go with it, you know, goes along with it. But when you are always authentic, you're always on trend. You're always trending, whether it be for the masses or for the niche customer and clientele and audience that you serve, like your cult following, so to speak, in the most high vibrational way, of course. And that could imagine that lends itself to being more supportive and more stable and prosperous in the long run, when you have folks that just are with you from beginning to end, because you always give them what they come for, which is you, unapologetically and authentically. It's not like some template of you and they don't know how to connect. It's like what you see is always what you get, and then some. And then the next time you see me, you'll probably get a little more that you weren't even expecting. Like that's the type of exchange you want to have with whomever your art connects with. Not the masses that'll be with you today and against you tomorrow. You'll be, you know, the freaking A-list celebrity today and canceled next week. You know, like, who needs that? Who needs to stress themselves out holding on to that, or trying to ride the waves of what you think they want to see and hear of you to stay relevant? Like, hell, ain't nobody got time for that. You're always relevant being who you are. And that's when you can negotiate your wealth by way of your worth, because you know that it's supreme. What? Wow. Now, you know I don't need to say no more than that. The star. Well, that's that on that. Thank you for listening. Wow. What a confirmation. I mean, all of the aces. Some pretty important confirmations here based on the message that's been channeling. What to do, what not to do, a word of caution, a word to the wise, all of the above. It's like, and still in the end, here's the promise. Here's the promise and potential for long-term success. This is not about celebrity. We all know that celebrity is fleeting and fame is a drug. This is unlimited creativity we're talking about here, from a healed space, from a loving place where you never get tired of what you do, and your audience, your customer, whomever you engage, never gets tired of you. Oh man, you know me, I can't stand ending on a crooked note. But I might just have to this time around, because this might be beyond compare. And you know, I'll take this moment to channel this energy that, as perfect as I like my cards to align, certainly the journey to this point has been everything but, and certainly the production of it all doesn't have to be either. It doesn't need to be all neat and wrapped up with a bow and all the kinks worked out and everything that you wanted to, everything in its perfect place and order and so on and so forth. Like, authenticity can come with that raw and rugged expression as well, where that behind the scenes footage of what it really takes to be this level of creative in the world, this force of spirit in the world. That's kind of part of the privilege, I think, even though, trust me, even you see how I am with just these darn cars, that I still have to remind myself that perfection is not a destination. It's not the ultimate accomplishment. I've learned that, truth for myself and kind of reconditioned myself in that regard in many ways, and still am, still working on it. But the truth is that essence of you that is not always picture perfect or in pristine condition, camera ready, is just as valuable, if not even more intriguing and interesting than when you are all of that. The relatability of your authenticity is what truly sells. And it doesn't mean that you got to bear all and be a social or an energetic exhibitionist, where these days people want your firstborn for you to feel relatable to them to some degree. But it just means that on your terms, who you express yourself to be is perfect as is, flaws and all. Really and truly, what matters is, as cliche as it sounds, but the internal is what really matters. And as long as that is pure, everything else is pristine. Yep. So big changes on the horizon. I think you're going to shock yourself with just, especially with this being over the Eight of Wands, we could be talking about breakout stardom here, overnight success, in whatever way that you've been plugging away at it. You may want to begin to prepare yourself for wish fulfillment in a magnitude that you probably had paced otherwise at this point. I don't think you could have ever anticipated that the acceleration of your success would happen at the rate that you may be about to experience it. Talking about flooding opportunities of advancement and acknowledgement and customers and spectators and subscribers and readers and money. Let's not forget the money, because finally it came, and it came in the magnitude that I called it out, which is further confirmation not to sell yourself short for the big payday, because you are worth it. Yeah, you are. All right, I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you for listening and watching. Thank you. I probably never say that enough. I appreciate your presence here, whomever connects with this for sure, because you are certainly a powerful force to be reckoned with in this earth. I salute you, and I wish you Godspeed, God bliss, and God resources for all that you are ready to express in spirit and in truth. Thank you for being here. We need you collectively. So thank you for listening and watching again. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.